All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Hornets Live, presented by American Pie Pizza. Remember, every Tuesday night here at American Pie Pizza, it's $2 Tuesdays, so get over here to 9709 Maumelle Boulevard and join us for Hornets Live and $2 Tuesdays. We've got a chicken bacon ranch pizza coming here in just a few minutes, so I know James will be happy about that because he's going. I guarantee you he's going to double up on what he got. So he'll be pigging out once he gets up here. So looking forward to that. And but Coach, welcome and congrats on a much needed win over Watson Chapel.
Yeah, it felt great. It was nice on senior night to see a victory, a convincing victory like that at our last game at home this year.
So before we get into the recap and talk about this one, I know we got to make something right with our guy Roderick Watts. Somehow the best wide receiver in 5A got left off the senior night festivities.
Yeah, it was a clerical mistake, and whatever the excuse may be, I want to make sure we mention Tennille and Keith Hill were escorting Rod on senior night, and it was an honest mistake by the announcing and how that all went down. But definitely want to mention their name on here. And then I also want to mention Sarah Stroud, who was walking with Caleb Stroud. She's a big supporter. She doesn't ever miss games, and she comes to a lot of events for us. So I want to make sure we mention her name as well. I know she's very active on our social media as well. So we appreciate those folks for being, like you said, big pieces of Hornet Nation and being a big part of that. So I know Rod was really disappointed in not getting to play on senior night. Yeah.
We were sitting there talking, and after I got up and got to go shake hands with Coach Pittman, Rod come over and he was like, "Man," he said, "of course, the one night that I can't play is the night that he's here." And so, well,
Rod's got a lot of good film that he can put out there, I really wanted to address the senior night issue. I wanted to make sure that his escorts were mentioned, and they're big supporters of the program and have helped the team out as well.
Absolutely. So, all right. So it's been a tough 3-week stretch. We know that. We're not going to go backwards and look into that. But I wanted to start by asking, what was the atmosphere like in the locker room after getting this W?
It was great. Our team as a whole wanted to do that for the seniors, and the seniors really played their butts off as well. So, it was nice at halftime to not have our backs up against the wall. And like this whole season, with the schedule we played, we've not had a chance to take a breath. Our halftime speech this week was let's get everybody some reps, and let's keep this atmosphere going.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun, and you go back to some of the games that you're supposed to win games. Some of the games against teams that weren't, that we know going into it should be, we should probably be up pretty big at half. And really, you look at the Jacksonville game, we were only up 6 because of a play that happened right before halftime and some other things. So you're right, it was great to go into the half and really have that comfort level of knowing, these guys were able to really have a good time, really show out on senior night, and then get a big victory or be in position to have a really good victory. And like you said, it's important. You've got a huge senior class, so to be able to get some of these younger guys in the second half had to have been a good feeling for you.
Absolutely. It's just a feel-good game. We did everything we were supposed to do and got to enjoy it.
So we talk a lot about Nico and Andrew as Hog commits, but I want to talk about the impact of just having Coach Pittman in town to meet with the team during the day, to come into school and get to meet with folks, and then also to be there to watch the game.
Yeah, due to NCAA rules right now, he wasn't able to, speak to the team, but he was on campus. All the players knew he was there, and then he actually came down to the field, while we're doing pregame, so everybody got to see him there. So it was, it was a good shot in the arm. Everybody wanted to play hard for the head Hog.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, for everything that everybody says about Coach Pittman, it's true. He's a very personable guy, doesn't really meet a stranger. He'll kind of talk to anybody, and just a super guy. So blessed to have him at Maumelle this week, and I know the kids were excited about having him there to be able to kind of show out for him. So, so every week during our Maumelle Sports Network pregame show, Andy and I give our 4 keys to victory, and each week it's starting fast is number 1. And it's safe to say I think we achieved that this week.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we scored every offensive possession. We didn't punt. If we go a whole game without punting, you're doing some things right offensively, So even on the one possession that we didn't score a touchdown for ourselves, we scored a touchdown for the other team. So.
Right. Yeah. So Jesse gets the start at running back this week. It's been the 3-headed monster of guys that gets the start each week, and he was the workhorse in the first half. A 52-yard touchdown drive to start the game that ended with this Jesse Knight touchdown run. And I know Jesse had a great night, and I'll get to this more as we go through the show, but I want to talk about the offensive line and the push that they got at times in this game, because they were pretty special in this game.
Well, there were some times where our offensive linemen were patting their own behinds and saying, "Run, here's where it's at. We're going to make sure we got a hole for you." And I would have loved to run the ball Friday night. At my advanced age, I would like to touch the football. I was wanting some carries too. And so when the run plays were called, our running backs were just knowing that there was going to be a tremendous push up front, and they ran well behind those guys, and really the offensive line just kind of took over the game.
Yeah, there was a couple of times, especially on a couple of touchdown runs, that one in particular, and another one we'll look at in a little bit, where I think even Andy could have run behind that line and scored a touchdown. That's how much room there was. So it looked good. So the defense, again, and the defense played phenomenally. We'll talk about that throughout the show too, but defense would force a 3-and-out, and we'd start the next drive at the Watson Chapel 31. And I think on the broadcast I said, I think this is a good time for a shot play. Now, little did I know that you were going to put Knight at quarterback and run a really fun shot play. But talk about this play. Unfortunately, it was so good that it fooled our camera person, and we only get Jesse scoring here. But it was a great play, great design. I think Brookhagen was even wide open over the middle if he wanted to go that way too.
Well, we call that play Water Boy. And me and Jesse pick at each other sometimes, and so he said, what did I get to do on that one, carry the water, coach? And I said, no, you get to score a touchdown. And now we had some trouble on the walkthrough day executing that because we were throwing with the wind. I had a coach tell me that we're throwing into the wind there, and I said, no, that'd be perfect. We won't overthrow it. And sure enough, the ball hung up, and Jesse was so wide open, he almost looked like he was going to fair catch it before he caught it and scored. So it was a good play. We were happy to execute it well.
So on the next Watson Chapel drive, the defense would force yet another turnover on downs. And again, kind of the story of the first half and what aided us in being able to score on every drive was great field position once again, this time at midfield. And this time an 8-play drive would be finished off with this great little run, 15-yard touchdown run by Jordan Candler. And I want to talk about that. So I think we saw some stuff. I know Andy said something. We'll talk to Jesse when we have Jesse up here in a few minutes. But we saw, I think, a little different moxie, I guess is the word, from our running backs, I thought, this week. I thought there was some, maybe it was just the success of the offensive line, but some of the cuts and some of the different things that they did, obviously we know what Jesse's very electric, and we know that Crawford and Candler are very good backs, but I thought that they were able to put their foot in the ground and really make some moves that we really haven't seen much of this year.
Well, some of the things we talk about with the running back group is if the offensive line's doing their job, all that's stopping you from scoring a touchdown is beating a safety or corner. And that particular play, Jordan Candler, the offensive line got him to the second level, and he made a safety miss, and he got the score because of it. And so I really think, when the offensive line's doing their job, the running backs step up their game, and they win their matchup too. And, those start being some home run plays instead of just good runs.
Yeah, they definitely had what felt like a different level of confidence. Watson Chapel's next possession would end much the same way as they did all night long. 4 plays and another turnover on downs. And once again, giving us great field position at midfield. And it wouldn't take long for the offense to find pay dirt yet again. Another 1-play drive, 50-yard run to make it 20-0. And this was just blocked really well. Jesse might have been touched there at about the 45, but that was it.
Well, out of that particular formation, we liked the inside run call, inside zone call, and it just offensive line really did a good job of executing, getting a hat on a hat. And when it opened up, Jesse hit the hole, and he was gone.
So on the next Watson Chapel drive, they'd finally get a little something going as they got into Maumelle territory. But back-to-back false starts would back them up 10 yards before this sequence of plays. First was this great read and recognition by Mosby and Timmons that I thought, when I said it, I thought, okay, he can throw the ball here. And I think on the broadcast I even said, well, no, he can't, as Mosby and Timmons just really did a great job of recognizing and making a big play.
Yeah, and initial coverage was pretty good too. Not falling for the, getting it out there. They were trying to get a double pass in, and on the back end we covered it initially long enough for that pressure to get there, and that's just athletes being athletes and making plays.
I said it on the broadcast, but I'll say it again, a little belated happy birthday to the birthday boy, John Brookhagen, from Friday night. He'd get himself a birthday sack here on this third down play, and he had a really good game, and it's been kind of a revelation watching him since the Whitehall game, playing both sides of the ball.
Well, similar to how we moved Jesse to offense, John's also a guy that wants to win, and so he puts in as much. We could put him anywhere, and he would give his best effort, and he's been a real good addition to us on defense as well.
Yeah, then on fourth down, he'd make his presence known again. A bad exchange between the long snapper and punter, and Nico and Brookhagen would combine on this play in the backfield as well to get this tackle for loss, and once again set the offense up in great field position.
Yeah, I mean, Watson Chapel kind of had a bust here, but, a lot of times you'll see over pursuit or guys taking a play off or something like that will lead to, somehow that working out. But, guys doing their job and being relentless, that ended up being a big play for us off their mistake.
You talk about guys taking plays off. I felt like this was one of those games where we didn't really see anybody take a play off. You had, even on special teams, we were kind of joking on the broadcast about the fact that Jesse couldn't even get a return because whether it was we had so much pressure on their punters that they were punting it bad or we were getting a piece of it or a play like that, we were able to get them down in the backfield.
Yeah, I mean, I just think collectively this was our best team game, and it wasn't because of the opponent. I just think we were all in it together for all the right reasons, and everybody played hard, not just for themselves but for each other.
Yeah, and we've said it already, but you could see that throughout the night, that these guys, this was a game that I felt like, I don't know that trying to prove something is the right way to put it, but like you said, more of a team cohesive unit that went out there and really played together and hard for really the better part of, 4 quarters. I mean, because you even see, we'll get to it, but some of the big plays late in the game with some of the younger guys.
Yeah, I mean, we really played to our capability, consistently. It's a good sign going into the playoffs.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a holding call on the next play would push us back, and then the next play, a bobbled ball, turns into a pick six for Watson Chapel. You were talking about that, the only score for Watson Chapel tonight. And just a tough. Des kind of bobbled it, and a great play. Give Nelson credit there for Watson Chapel. He made a great play to return that for 6.
Well, it's not it's pretty obvious what happened. We didn't execute well. We dropped the pass we should have caught, and we also, it was a tunnel screen, and so we also didn't block somebody we were supposed to block. So it became a bigger bust than it should have been just because we didn't have a real good play that time. So
we talked about offensive line play and how good it was all night, but I want to give some credit to a guy. Due to these guys that ate a lot of pancakes against Watson Chapel, but there's one guy in particular that you and I have talked about. We've talked about him on the broadcast, and it's a guy that he's got some things to learn in terms of route running. But you've always talked so much about Amari Rogers as a blocker, and this video I think exemplifies Amari Rogers as a blocker. And this was not the only one. This was an all-night thing, as he was just absolutely punishing people in the running game.
Yeah, Amari's a selfless player too. Every day he comes out there and he does his job, and he wants the team to be successful. And so, it's not a glorious position. It's an extension of the offensive line a lot of times, and he's got to do a lot of individualized practice and stuff about blocking, and it's not a real flashy thing for him, but he does a great job, and he's very consistent, and he plays hard, and he does it for the right reasons.
So this drive would also culminate with another rushing touchdown. This time, Jason Crawford gets to join in the night as the offensive line just dominated the defense on this touchdown run, making it 35-6 Hornets. And the push on the left side of that offensive line on that play is pretty impressive.
Well, what you don't see is right before you had the video clip, Andrew Chambly reaches back and taps his backside. And Kelby does the same right next to him, and they followed through with that promise, because Jason could have walked in on that one. Yeah. I mean, that's a really good job up front.
So on the next Watson Chapel drive, they'd had their most successful drive of the game. But once again, Jesse Knight makes his presence felt with another big game-changing play with this interception, and just also happens to be our Brolo All-State Agency catch of the night, our Good Hands catch of the game.
Well, and I'm actually surprised that he didn't return that all the way with the way he's been returning the ball this year. He went up high, pointed the ball, and just a good job being where he's supposed to be and making a play when it came to him. Yeah,
we were joking about that too because, is it like it's not a hat trick? If we could have got him, if he could have got the passing touchdown, a receiving touchdown, the rushing touchdown, and a return touchdown of some sort, I don't know what you'd have to call that, but it's a pretty special night.
No, what they say, dynamite comes in small packages, and Jesse's definitely that, and he can do a lot of things on the football field.
And once again, those offensive fireworks would happen again as Jesse Knight would break off this incredible 40-yard run that looked like, for all intents and purposes, it was shut down. And he just rips the ball away from Weston here and takes off. I think if you listen to the broadcast, you can hear Will laughing in the background because it's just we were so shocked by the play itself. It was a great play by Jesse.
Well, yeah, we had a missed assignment up front, and it kind of put some stress on the play right away. And it's going to take more than one guy to get Jesse down, and just playmakers making plays.
So this drive would also end in the end zone yet again, as QB1 would sneak it in and extend the lead to 42-6.
Well, I would love to be the one run behind that offensive line. That's a good job of executing and really, winning in the trenches right there. And, when you got a yard in front of you to get in the end zone, there's extra motivation there. And, they moved some earth on that play.
Yeah, and it probably felt a little bit better knowing the offensive line was working that well on that play to call that play, considering, I saw the bruise on Weston's knee. It was not a pretty thing from the Whitehall game. So to be able to keep him healthy and just and clean the whole night too had to have been a blessing and thankful in your eyes after that game was over with as well.
Well, behind this line, a quarterback sneak is one of the safest plays there is.
Yes.
And so that we wanted to execute that there. That's something you want to be able to do in the trenches. You want to be able to do in those big downs. And so it was good to get a rep at that.
So 42-6 would be the halftime score. That had to have been a great feeling in the locker room at the half.
It felt great because, the goal we had for the night was to do right for our seniors, to let those guys have some glory their last home game. And we had glory at halftime, and so it's not every game you get to have that conversation at halftime about how we get guys reps, how we move forward with this. So, we talked about it at halftime. We're going to go back out with our ones, one more possession offensively, one more possession defensively, and then we were going to let some other guys get some work. And they really were excited about that, and not just excited about, getting the job done, but excited about getting to kind of pass the torch and get some younger guys some reps.
Yeah. So you said it, the starters come out for a possession in the second half, and after a 3-and-out for the defense, once again, Jesse would have another really – this was one of my favorite runs. I think this is one of my favorite runs of the night. I think it's the right one, where he makes a little cut. It looks like he's just going to step out of bounds and then makes a cut at the sidelines and gets about 8 to 10 more yards here. This is something we hadn't seen out of Jesse. I mean, we've seen his ability to cut, but that was a pretty impressive play there as well.
Well, I like a lot of things about it, and Jesse being a playmaker is always present. If he's on the field, there's an opportunity he's going to hit a home run. But we really blocked well on the perimeter with our receivers there, and you see at the end of it when Jesse's trying to continue the play and do some more work. The offensive linemen don't just stop at the line of scrimmage when they've done their reach block. They're continuing the play. They're working down the field. You see Kevin Hamilton come in there and throw a big block at the end, and it's just guys playing all the way to the whistle. That was something we saw a lot of Friday.
Well, then things got really fun, and I sent you a text that I never replied to when you replied to me about player of the game. So Friday night when I was on with Randy, and he was asking who our Ortho Arkansas player of the game would be, I was giving him Jesse's stats, and he said, well, we're going to have to name Coach player of the game as well with some of these play calls, because you had some fun in the play call. Don't shake your head. You had some fun in the play call department, and I think this one was a lot of fun. We'll start with the night hurdle video. I think we can go ahead and put some. If he's not on the track team, maybe we should put some hurdles out there and get him on the track team, because this hurdle play, I think even Andy says, well, that's new in the broadcast. One of the first times we've seen that. I think you went back one too many there, Will. No. Yeah. It's after. That's right. I forgot to combine them. That's my fault, Will. But we'll see that one here on the next. Yeah, right here. And this was a fun little play here as he was able to hurdle the defender in the middle of the field and get the extra yards down to the 2.
That's not a play call. That's Jesse being Jesse and taking matters in his own hands. He did a good job of reading, this play wasn't hitting outside, and he was able to hit cutback. It's a tribute to the offensive line staying on their blocks and executing up front, but also him having good vision and then making that guy miss.
Yeah. Well, and the play call I was talking about, though, is this next one. And Will, I want you to start this one, but just pause it at the beginning before you let it roll through. So the fun part about this play to me is not only do you have Harrison involved as the running back, but you've also got CJ in there as your fullback, which I didn't realize at the time until I went back and watched video. So you really got almost the entire defensive line. If you'd have just had Nico there on the right side as a blocker, you'd have had the whole D-line out there. But a lot of fun. It's always fun when the big guys are able to get a touchdown, and I know they love getting those opportunities to get a touchdown.
Well, this is fun, and it's actually something we makeshift kind of improved at halftime. Jordan Harrison is from the Pine Bluff area, and he has a nickname with us and everything. Pine Bluff Middle School, Jack Roby Middle School. And, I know it was big to him to play against a team that, at one point in time he was scheduled to go to at Watson Chapel. And, CJ is the quiet assassin. He's just been an excellent D lineman for us this whole year. Just he goes about his business, in a blue-collar way. And so we were going to have fun with it. If Jordan didn't get in on this one, we were going to flip their positions and run it back the other way and let CJ get the carry. So, it's a little bittersweet because I kind of would have liked to see that second one. But, we were so happy for him, and you can see by his reaction on it, how much it meant to him. And it meant a lot to all of us, just to be able to finish that drive off.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch, I can tell you that. A lot of fun to call. Those are always fun play calls to call, though. I mean, from your perspective and then from our perspective, getting to call that is a lot of fun. And we talked about this, but the mercy rule would be in full effect the rest of the way, and that gave you an opportunity to get the younger guys in. And that had to have been a great feeling considering, one, how the last couple of weeks have gone, but two, as you start to look forward. Obviously, we've got the playoffs still, but you start to look forward to next year, and these are guys that are going to have to contribute for you next year.
Well, absolutely. Anytime you can get some game opportunities to get that experience in, it's you have to do it. And those young guys stepped in there and did a pretty good job.
So one of those younger guys is a guy that we've seen a few times, and his speed kind of sticks out to me. But Jaden Worsham on this touchdown run, not just the speed, but you see the ability to get away from the tackler at the beginning of this play. This play should have been done right there, and instead he bounces off the guy, gets outside. Another thing that I love about – pause that right there, Will. Hope he couldn't get it paused in time. Two things that I also love about this, well, you can see it here. First, your senior running back is the guy leading the way down there, giving the signal for touchdown. He's so excited for his sophomore teammate. But two, Skylar McClure, a senior, is driving a guy all the way out of bounds as a blocker on the way down the field here as well. Two, just great plays all around by those guys.
Well, it speaks to the selfless nature of our kids, because, Jason Crawford could – if he was ego-driven, he's a starting running back at the start of the year. Why should I go play slot receiver? He didn't ask questions. He went out there and did it to the best of his ability and got to celebrate with the sophomore after he made a good run. And Skylar McClure has played defense for us all year, and he stepped right out there to wide out and blocked the guy into the stands.
Yeah. So the Hornet defense would complete the defensive shutout on the next drive as, again, sophomores would make their impact as Carson Hilliard and Kenyette Garvey would combine on a forced fumble, and Garvey would recover it. And again, big play here that basically sealed the deal, and great job there as Garvey picks it up and gets the fumble recovery.
Yeah, it's a great feeling getting to see those guys celebrate and run off the field. Karsten has really come of age this year, and he's played for us on special teams and spot played at linebacker, and it's really nice to see him get out there and get those reps. Kenyetta Garvey's had to go against our massive offensive line all year, and it's nice to get to see him against somebody else.
So we'd run the clock out on the next drive, and this one would end with a Hornets victory, 56-6. With the victory, we secure the 4 seed in the playoffs. Now you finally get to enjoy a bye week, 10 straight weeks of playing, and then we'll be heading on the road to either Valonia or Greenbrier in week 1 of the playoffs.
Well, it's an odd feeling getting a bye week, week 10, and that's, kind of just a weird circumstance that we were faced with this year with Hall dropping to 8-man football. But, it's good to get healthy and get extra reps this week. I feel like it's kind of an advantage for us having an extra week of practice to prepare for, one of 2 teams.
Well, all right, Coach, we're going to wrap things up. We'll take a break, and when we get back, we're going to be joined by our offensive and defensive players of the game. That is. They'll give it to Jesse to the left side. Jesse trying to find a seam. He's got one across midfield. 45-40 and going to be pulled down at the 36-yard line. Jesse Knight with a big gain to start this one. Knight, big hole up. 27, and he'll be down at the 25, and that's going to be another McClark proper.
There we go.
We'll hand this one to Knight. Knight follows the folks to the right, cuts it back up the middle to 5, and that's like a 3A school. Now Pierce gives this one away to Knight. That's big. Oh, boy, could have drove a truck into the end zone on that one. Jesse Knight scores, and that's a touchdown for the Hornets. Watson Chapel. I believe that's Brentley at quarterback. It is, as he hands this one away. It's a big running back, but Maurice Mosby don't care. It's him and Harrison. Brentley on 3rd down. He'll fake it. He wants to throw it. Here comes the pressure. Coming after him is Pace trying to get there. He can't, and he did. Pace got him. Pace got an ankle, tripped him up. Here comes Weston. He's coming in motion. They do snap it. Now pitch it back to Weston. Having a little fun. He got Brookhagen. Now go back to back to Jesse. Jesse makes the catch. Touchdown, Hornets. As the Hornets go with a little razzle-dazzle and find Jesse on the throwback. And he's got 2 already this morning. This one's going to be handed off to the right side. That's, whoa, and a big hit in the hole by the Predator.
Whitley, too.
They came up. Birthday boy going to get a smack. Now here comes Jesse. Brookhagen gets it, hands it off to Jesse. Jesse to the left side, cuts inside, makes it's a 30, now to the 25, trying to break tackles down to the 23-yard line, and that'll be a McClarty Nissan first down. Give this one away. Chandler. Sidesteps a man. Touchdown, Hornets.
There you go, 22.
Brentley gets he'll hand this. Oh, and a big hit. That's C.J. Murphy, amongst others, were 2-3 yards in the backfield. To his left, he's going to run all the way here. He's across the 45, and a big hit is Nico, as well as Max Pace in there on the running back. It's Pierce at midfield. He'll hand it to Knight. Knight cuts to his right side. Big seam, he may go. Across the 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Hornets. Jesse Knight is showing out for them Hog coaches here in attendance tonight.
That's a 50-yarder.
Good night, Jesse Knight. I'm coming. Oh, we back? My bad. I wasn't looking at you. My fault. Welcome back to Hornets Live from American Pie Pizza, presented by Natural State Sports. I want to mention the official sponsor of the Maumelle Hornets, Dio Vanucci and Cornerstone Home Lending. In this real estate market, it is imperative that you work with the best lenders to ensure you're in the best position possible in making an offer. Dio and his team will ensure you have a great experience from kickoff to the closing table. So text Dio to 36260 and get your home search kicked off today. All right, so joining us now are a couple of veterans to Hornets Live, and our player of the game, Jesse Knight and James Whitley. How you doing, fellas?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Good week to relax. We were joking about it. You're in your pajamas. Got to go to school in your pajamas. Got to practice in pajamas. So it's a good day to beat Jesse Knight on a bye week, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, let's start with you, James. First off, I want to say congrats on quite the milestone, over 100 tackles on the season.
Thank you.
Big accomplishment there. I know the last time you were here, we were talking that if the stats were updated online, that you'd be somewhere around 6th in the state in tackles, and that was a few games ago. I think you were sitting around 65. So made a dent in that and put a few numbers up.
Yeah, just a little bit.
So another great one last week against Watson Chapel, totaling 11 tackles, including 3 tackles for loss in basically just a half a play.
Yeah.
How much fun was it in this game going up against Watson Chapel? Not so much an overmatched team, but just being able to really execute the way you guys did on defense.
I mean, going into the night, it's obviously going to be like an emotional night with senior night. So knowing this is the last home game with all the seniors, because I'm really close with a lot of the seniors. So I'm just trying to go out and have fun, and being able to have fun against that kind of team. And in the second half, seeing all the younger guys that were playing, they get to do their own thing too. So it was a good night.
And defensively, you guys seem to be playing with a different level of intensity this week. Was that just the senior night, Pittman being there, and maybe trying to prove a little something getting into playoff time after the way the last few weeks have been?
Yeah, I think playoffs kind of had to do a little thing with the score too, because we just got blown out 2 weeks in a row before that. And that night, obviously senior night and Pittman had a lot to do with it, but trying to get our minds right before the playoff game was definitely a plus.
How cool was it just to have the opportunity to get to play in front of the head hog?
That was pretty cool, I'm not going to lie. I saw him out there pregame, and I was like, dang, he really better watch me play.
Mm-hmm. Good opportunity there, right?
Yeah.
If nothing else, you get an opportunity to play in front of a guy that's that well known, that brings a lot to the table. So now I want to talk about this. Late in the game, Watson Chapel was driving. Defense comes up with a fumble recovery. Coach and I talked about this a little bit. We were talking about Skyler, blocking downfield. We're talking about Jason. I don't know if I have the video, and Will would have to do a lot of work over there to even put this video in. I should have told him. But on that play, the first guy off the sideline to celebrate was you, giving dabs to Garvey as he came off the field.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm really proud of how the younger players played it on Friday, because like Carson, he's been putting just as much work as anybody, even more than some of the players on the team. So seeing him getting the forced fumble, and then Yetta, like Coach said, having to go against first string offensive line every day in practice, that's not an easy O-line to go against.
Yeah, I think he's got it up there. This is what I'm talking about. But I think I've got enough of the clip on here to catch that. Okay. So, but you'll see the first guy that we see coming up. There's 50. It cuts out, but you see it, the first guy out there to celebrate in a game that you've kind of been chilling on the sidelines for the better part of the second half, and now you're the first guy out there giving these guys helmet on. You're ready to play at this point, and but celebrating with your guys. Talk about too how much it meant to just secure the defensive shutout.
Oh, that was a big thing for our defensive coordinator this past week, and he's winning the shutout and mercy rule, and defensive got it a shutout. And we got him his mercy rule, so he was a happy man after the game.
I bet. So regular season's over. How nice is it to finally have a bye week?
Very good. I think mentally and physically, a lot of our players needed a rest before playoffs, especially since we're going against a number 1 team, either Greenbrier or Valonia. So I think a lot of our players would want a little rematch with Valonia, but Greenbrier, we played 7-on-7 against them and lost him 7-on-7, so either team has a little bit of a vengeance to it.
Travel's nothing that we are not used to, obviously, this year, only getting 3 home games. So we're going to travel to either one of them. What's the message as a team leader? What's the message to the team as we look ahead to the playoffs?
There's nothing new. I mean, it's just another game, but we can't just go out there and just say, well, I got next year, because a lot of our starters are seniors, and there's not another game, so we can just bounce back the next week. It's lose and go home. So basically just keep our heads in the game and practice the whole week.
What's something that you're most proud of from this season?
I'm not going to lie, the 100 tackles. My goal before the season my dream goal was 80, and to get 100 tackles is just mind-boggling to me.
Pretty awesome. It's something to build on, obviously. We're going for like 150 next year, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, sounds good. All right, James, I appreciate it. Let's chat with our offensive player of the game. I think, were you defensive player of the game last time, or were you just I don't even remember anymore.
I don't know.
It's probably offensive and who knows. But, Jesse, all right, I don't even know where to start, but we'll start here. 200 yards rushing, 76 – actually, I think it was 201 or 202, but I'm rounding down. So 76 receiving, 3 total touchdowns, and an interception on defense. So just another day at the office for you.
Pretty much.
First question. Now, maybe I asked you this before, but I'm going to ask it again. What do you enjoy more now that we've had, 4 or 5 games on offense or defense?
I still like defense. I ain't going to lie. Defense be turned.
Just hitting people, just being able to really go off.
Offense is cool, too.
See, the difference is in offense, sometimes you're trying to avoid those hits. Now, you can deliver some punishment on offense, but sometimes you're trying to make somebody look silly on offense versus on defense, you just want to hurt somebody, right?
Yes, sir.
So was there a little same thing I asked James. Was there any extra motivation knowing you'd have a chance to play in front of Coach Pittman?
I ain't going to lie. That boosted my motive right there. I was warming up. I came out. I seen him on the sideline. I was like, oh, yeah. Tonight is going to be something special.
So the last 2 weeks, they've been tough. Do you feel like this win helped the team come together a little more for a big push in the playoffs?
And yes, sir. I feel like everybody worked as a team that game, and we had few penalties. I don't even remember if we had a penalty.
Yeah, there wasn't many, maybe a couple. Not
probably a few. We just fixing the small things, getting everything we need ready for the playoffs.
So we've seen a lot of highlight-worthy plays from you this season, but I want to talk about 2 in particular from Friday, and you may have to look over your shoulder here, but we talked about them with Coach a minute ago. This one was just pretty incredible to me, the cut at the sideline to stay in bounds and then to get about almost 10 more yards out of that. That's an impressive play.
Yes, sir. I just had good blocking from my O-line, and I just looked for the open hole and try to get to the touchdown.
So it's track next. I mean, you're going to run the hurdles next? Is that what we're going to do?
I'm running track this year.
There you go. So
yeah, Coach Chambers made me.
Well, I mean, there's a good reason why. Not just speed, but then you got the ability to hurdle like that. That was a lot of fun to watch. That was something new that we had seen. Another question. We talked to Coach about this a little bit, and obviously we have a really a good running back room right now.
Yes,
between you, Candler, Crawford, and then some younger guys that are going to contribute down the road. But did you feel anything different from those guys this week as well? Because, like I said with Coach, I felt like those guys were running differently than we've seen them run most of the season.
Yes, sir. Well, here lately this week, I told them it's senior night. We got to go out with a bang. It's the last home game we playing in front of our fans, besides those who not traveling with us to the playoffs. And after practice, we've been going to the little soccer fields, just working on foot drills and preparing. And it looked like they showed out. Everybody got them a touchdown.
That's right. What are you most proud of from the regular season?
We've grown a lot, like as a team. Like we're playing together more. We're listening to the coach. We're being coachable. Just doing everything we need to do, and hopefully this continues into the playoffs.
So much needed bye week. As a senior leader on this team, what's the message to the team as we head into postseason play?
Man, this could be my last game, and I don't want it to be. This is my first time ever being able to play in the high school playoffs or whatever. So I want to make this experience that is my first time, make it good. So I want to continue to go to more rounds, not just get put out the first round. Everybody go out there, just do what we supposed to do, get the job done.
4 seeds have made runs in these in this playoff before, so it's nothing to be unheard of. And we've seen it. I mean, outside of the 2 games here towards the end of the season, you guys were in every single game. We've not had any, we've really not been beaten up in games. And Valonia was a game that really, a play here or there could have been the difference to pick up that victory. So I think there's got to be at least some confidence from you guys knowing, look, you've played with, Valonia, obviously one of the best teams in 5A, if not the best team in 5A. Them and Greenbrier, PA are some of the better teams. You guys have been able to play with those. We went to Shreveport and played with, I saw today, I think Byrd is now ranked like 9th in the state of Louisiana, a team that you guys lost to by 3 at their place on a long travel day. So it's got to be a lot of confidence now built after really taking care of business in this last game, but knowing, look, you can play with Valonia, and you'll be able to play with Greenbrier as well. So does that bring any extra level of confidence as we go into the playoffs?
Yes, sir. And I feel like, for me, I want to play Valonia to get back what's ours, because that game shouldn't have ended the way it did, but it happened. And I feel like the team, they're more comfortable with Valonia. But either way, if we play Valonia or Greenbrier, I just want to get the job done, get the dub.
Sounds good. All right, fellas, we appreciate you guys joining us this evening. I'd say go enjoy your pizza, but I think you guys done tore it up. There's a little bit more of the chicken bacon ranch here. I know that's your favorite, so if you want some, jump on it. I said there's more. Okay, there is. Good. So, and when we get back, we're going to chat a little bit more with Coach Horton.
Yes, sir.
My name is Brandon Aker. I'm the owner and pharmacist here at Aker Family Pharmacy in Maumelle. So here in our pharmacy, we like to focus on a hyper-personalized relationship with our patients, and that continues into our service sets. So we offer free delivery, curbside vaccinations, as well as custom compounded medications, including extended hours as well. I think you don't know the level of intimacy that you're going to get with your patients until you really get in it, and I can't imagine doing anything else.
All right, welcome back, Hornets fans, to Hornets Live at American Pie Pizza. And I want to say thanks to everyone who has joined us, not just tonight, but all season long here at American Pie Pizza. And, of course, a huge thanks as well to Tamsy and her crew for being so generous and such great hosts. Make sure you tip your servers really well tonight. These folks take really good care of us, and most of the time they're kind of shorthanded just because we bring a decent-sized crowd. There's another decent-sized crowd that takes up this room. And, I don't know if you've heard, but these days in the food industry, it is kind of hard to keep employees. So thanks to these folks for being such great hosts. And if you're looking for a part-time or full-time job, come up and see Tamsy. I'm sure she can take care of you. So, Coach, regular season's come to an end. The record may not be what we envisioned at the beginning of the season, but it's a new season now as we head into the playoffs. I've asked the guys, but what's your message to the team as we get ready to head on the road to start the playoffs next week?
Well, we can't change those close losses. I mean, obviously, our hopes for, a record by the end of the year would be a lot higher than this. But the fact is, we got in the playoffs. That was one of our goals. Now it's time to win a playoff game, and it's not just you can't look ahead in the playoffs. You can't look ahead just like you can't in conference season in general. But our task at hand is going to be determined this Friday. Who we got to beat? It's either Greenbrier or Valonia. And we've got to prepare and do a good job and get it done.
Yeah, and whether you're a 1 or a 4 seed, everything's equal when it comes in. I mean, you got to travel, but we're used to traveling, so that's not really a big deal this year. So looking forward to that. And, of course, I asked our players this as well, but what are you most proud of with this team as the regular season comes to an end?
Just resilient. These guys have been through a lot more than anybody's ever been asked to do before at Maumelle. I mean, we had to go over and practice at another location for 7 weeks. You only got to play 3 home games. Getting a team dropping off of our schedule that was probably, going to be a lopsided win in our favor, and then having to go to Louisiana and play one of the best teams in Louisiana. And so everything that these guys have been through, they stay together as a team. Things aren't always pretty. We've been through a lot together, and the fact is that we've remained together, and these guys are playing hard for one another.
Talk a little bit too about the senior class and how special they've been to this Hornet program. Obviously, they've had to go through. We talk about everything this year, but really you've had a 2 or 3 year stretch here of really a lot of stuff that no one's ever seen, especially anybody our age, to deal with a pandemic and everything else we've had to deal with, and the craziness of last year just getting through a season. Talk about how special this senior class is.
Well, most of the time when you're a senior, you played your freshman year, you probably played JV your sophomore year, and then you were probably ready to play your junior and senior year. These guys came out the chute ready to play. I mean, we could have dressed them their freshman year, and they would have contributed to the varsity team. A lot of them started their sophomore, junior, and senior year and really contributed. They've made a real big impact at making, Maumelle in the playoffs as almost a guarantee. It just made it a regular thing, and it wasn't like that all the time before they got here. And so they kind of, set the bar higher for Maumelle, and they've been with us and loyal to that.
Well, Coach, I told you I wouldn't take up too much of your time in this last segment, and I'm not going to. So no game to preview, nothing really to talk about other than, I guess we could preview the bye on Friday. All the great, we got Jesse here in pajamas, so we're good. I think the guys are relaxing and chilling this week. But I want to say we really appreciate, we appreciate the folks here at American Pie Pizza. We appreciate your time. I know that you've got a lot going on as athletic director and head coach, and we really appreciate you taking out the time to do this and help not only promote the program, but promote yourself and promote Maumelle in general, Maumelle High School, and getting our players here and letting them have the opportunity to really showcase themselves, and not just athletically, but you get guys up here in front of a camera, and no matter how many people are watching, it's still a nerve-wracking thing to actually have to publicly speak in front of people. So we appreciate you guys and all just how great you guys have been to us this season.
Well, since I got an education, I always want to do what's best for kids, and what we're doing right now is best for kids. And since you guys came on board and been a partner with Maumelle, you've been nothing but supportive of our teams and athletes, and it's something special and something unique that you don't get everywhere. And you guys provide that for us, and so the least I can do is show up and do my part.
Well, we appreciate it. So before we go, I want to give a huge thanks to our sponsors who have made these broadcasts possible this season. Without the support of these folks, we wouldn't be able to bring Maumelle High School the best high school live stream in the state, in my opinion.
Mine too. Mine too.
But so huge thank you, number one, to Tamsy and the folks here at American Pie Pizza. They've been great to us, not just this season, but they were with us in our inaugural basketball season. Tamsy jumped in and was great with that. They've also helped us with some other things that we do outside of high school sports. So super appreciative to Tamsy, as well as Dio Vanucci and Cornerstone Home Lending, McClarty Nissan, PI Roofing, the Brooks Agency, Acre Pharmacy, Akel's Wholesale, and Brooke Brolo with Allstate Insurance. Please be sure and show them your support for supporting Hornets athletics. And on that note, I want to mention our advertising opportunities for Hornet basketball. I know I'm excited for basketball season. I don't want football season to end yet, but I'm excited because basketball season is going to be a lot of fun, not just on the boys' side. The girls are coming along as well. Callie's done a good job there, really starting to build that program and kind of get some momentum going behind the girls' team as well. We'll have all their games any doubleheaders with the girls we'll have on our broadcast as well. And so we're really looking forward to basketball season. Coach Shook's got a great team over there and a team that, of course, state runner-up last year and an opportunity to make a deep run again this year with the guys that they have. And so I want to announce that, number one, we announce this now, that we will be continuing Hornets Live with Coach Shook, thanks to the hospitality and generosity of our friends here at American Pie Pizza. So thanks to them, we'll have Coach Shook here. We don't have a date yet as to our first show, but we'll have one here soon after football season ends, and we'll have Coach Shook here. But hopefully we're playing football for several more weeks in November and not have to worry about that.
That's the plan, Steve.
Absolutely. And lastly, if you're a business owner or know of a business owner who would like to be featured on our broadcast, please let us know. We would love to share the advertising opportunities we still have available. So once again, Coach, thanks for being with us this week, as well as our players of the game, Jesse Knight and James Whitley. Enjoy the bye week, and we'll see you all again next Tuesday here at American Pie Pizza for Hornets Live as we preview our first round playoff matchup. Go Hornets.